Hi, and welcome to my series called Muhammad versus the Ants. And since this will probably be deleted, since it's a YouTube video, plus the fact that I'm noticing that YouTube is rejecting videos that go over. Also, this way, it's starting to reject my videos that are done this way more and more. So I'm going to be concentrating using this camera instead when I read this latest back and forth between me and a Muslim. So, all right, I'll turn this thing on and begin this series here. Is this working? Yeah, it's working. Hi. When I do this series called Muhammad versus the Ants, I'll be using this side of my face when I do the Muslims version, plus doing a mock Arabic accent, and I use this side of my face for me. Okay. That's one of the benefits of being two-faced. Yeah. Not being symmetrically pleasing to look at. Alright, continue this thing down here. Okay, I'll start this thing now. This is how Christians and atheists try to disprove the scientific miracles from Quran. Always, when Quran brings a scientific fact, you go and search for... Oh, shoot. Yeah. You go and search for explanations from old Islamic scholars who aren't scientists, that have time and did errors when explaining scientific verses. Tabari wasn't a scientist, so he did a lot of errors in his explanations. Why don't you just have a debate with Mr. Shabir Ali and we'll see if you'll laugh again. Try again, explain this. And this is on the video called How Allah's Messenger Believed the Sun and Moon Got Their Light, Part 1. That's a video I made on, I think, my Ramit, my Ellen, my Nellen Yesmar YouTube account. Okay. Muslims try to tell me that Surah Al-Alaq isn't the clot, but is really the clinging leech-like substance. But guess what I found? Check this out from Sahih Authentic Muslim. Chapter 1. The growth of a child in the womb of a mother and his destiny in regard to his livelihood, his deeds both good and evil. Book 33, number 6390. See, how much time do I have here? Okay, I guess I'll have enough time. Yeah. Alright. Abdullah B. Masud reported Allah's Messenger, Qaba, who is the most truthful, then it's added, of the human beings. If that's true, then we're in bad shape. And his being truthful is a fact. That's been added. Said, quote, verily, your creation is on this wise. The constituents of one of you are collected for 40 days in his mother's womb in the form of blood, after which it becomes a clot of blood in another period of 40 days. Did you get that? For 40 days, it's a blood clot. You want to know something? An embryo isn't even a blood clot for 40 seconds. It's not a blood clot ever unless it's dead, and has blood in it. And it starts clotting. But continue. Then it becomes a lump of flesh for 40 days later. For 40 days later, Allah sends his... Then it becomes a lump of flesh, and 40 days later, Allah sends his angel to it with instructions concerning 4 things. So the angel writes down his livelihood, his death, his deeds, his misfortune, and misfortune. By him, that's Allah, besides whom there is no God. And Allah must love hearing that all the time. You think you'd get tired of it. I guess just can't get tired of hearing there's no God but Allah. That one amongst you acts like the deserving people. That one among you acts like the people deserving paradise, until between him and paradise there remains but the distance of a cubit, when suddenly the writing of destiny overcomes him, and he begins to act like the denizens of hell, and thus enters hell. And another one acts in the way of the denizens of hell, until there remains between him and hell a distance of a cubit, that the writing of destiny overcomes him, and he begins to act like the people of paradise, and enters paradise. It goes to show you that it's not deeds, it's not whether you're sinless or not. It's all due to these special instructions before you're born. So when it says that when it says in the Quran that Allah leads off the right path as it pleases, or after He pleases, it's not kidding. You know, so it's not your fault that you're going to hell or paradise. It's just Allah writing these special instructions before you're born, right after you were a blood clot, 40 days. All right, let's see it again here and shorten it. This is Sahih Muslim Hadith, book 33, number 6390. Abdullah b. Abusud reported that Allah's Messenger, Pubba, who is the most truthful and of the human beings, and his being truthful is a fact, said, quote, verily your creation is on this side. The constituents of one of you are collected for 40 days in his mother's womb in the form of blood. So for 40 days you're just a bunch of blood, after which it becomes a clot of blood in another period of 40 days. So for 40 days you're blood, then in another 40 days you are a blood clot. Wow, that really sounds scientific. Not. Then it becomes a lump of flesh, and 40 days later Allah sends his angel to it with instructions concerning 4 things. So the angel writes down his livelihood, his death, his deeds, his fortunes, misfortunes. By him, besides him, there is no God. Again, even more shortened and to the point. The constituents of one of you are collected for 40 days in his mother's womb in the form of blood, after which it becomes a clot of blood. In another period of 40 days. Did you get that? I'll read on here. And further still, quote, after which it becomes a clot of blood in another period of 40 days. So for 40 days it's blood. So 40 days an embryo is blood. Then in another 40 days it's a blood clot. Just like the Quran is called, like that surah is called the clot. It's not the clinging leech-like substance like Muslims try to make it out to be. You know, it's the clot, because you find out here it is a clot for like 40 days, or within 40 days, something like that. Okay, and further, clot of blood in another period of 40 days. Notice it never says like a leech, or like a clinging leech, or like a clinging leech-like substance. Instead, it says clot of blood in another period of 40 days. You know something? Muhammad, he is a false prophet. An embryo is never a blood clot, ever. And that's when this Muslim then says, so you mean that you have more knowledge about than the embryologist, Dr. Keith Moore? If he believes like the Quran and Sahih authentic Muslims say about embryos being blood clots, and apparently blood clots for 40 days, yeah, I'd say so. How can I not but have more knowledgeable than this Keith Moore guy? But, okay, speaking about book 33, number 6390, maybe if you look here, you will finally understand, yes. Lovely is place WordPress.com 2010 to Hadith for man's development. There are tons of true scientific facts in Quran and Hadith. Can you name even one, please? Well, just one. But also there is a lot of scientific errors in the Bible, right? Like Leviticus chapter number 12, verse number 5. A woman remains unclean for double the period if she gives birth to a daughter as compared to a son. Well, if that's true, and not Takia, on your part, you are to believe it because Leviticus is part of the Torah. That the Quran says it is like the Quran. Get it? Like the Quran? And the Quran says nothing if you like the Quran. But the Quran says that the Torah is like the Quran. And the Quran says the Torah is, quote, all his words. And a, quote, book given to Musa. It's all his book given to Musa. That is, quote, with guidance and light, and something a child of Israel can judge therein, using the Torah. Yeah. So, if Leviticus is wrong, so is the Quran. Also, it is you who are terrorists, not the Muslims. 9/11 was a conspiracy. It is Bush and his clan who have destroyed the Twin Towers with proofs. If so, then Bush knew when to attack and make it look like Muslims were planning 9/11/01 due to Quran 911, just to make Islam look evil. By the way, if that were the case, why did Bush then lie and say Islam is a peaceful and tolerant religion? Again, are you telling me that you don't believe embryos go through a blood clot stage, or that you do? Which is it? Okay, I'm going to have to stop it here because I don't think this is going to catch. All right? Bye. Yeah.